The Mariners swept their road trip, and then, after getting back to Seattle with a little over 12 hours before hitting the diamond again, predictably dropped a dud against the White Sox yesterday. And that's okay. We're back on the mics to give you our thoughts on the last 4 days of Mariners baseball here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Locked On Mariners podcast. It is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022, and thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, with new episodes dropping every Monday through Friday. I am your host, Ty Gonzalez, joined as always by my co-host, Colby Patnode. We cover the Mariners over at InsideTheMariners.com for Fan Nation over on the Sports Illustrated Network. Be sure to follow the show on Twitter at LO_Mariners. Follow Inside the Mariners at Inside Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez. It's DANEGNZLZ. And Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. Be sure to also check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/Control the Zone. We post 2 additional podcasts on there every single week. Again, that is patreon.com/Control the Zone. And if this is your first time joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast, welcome to the show. If you like what you hear, give us a follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to this. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. It's been a little while since we last recorded. I appreciate everyone being patient while I dealt with a personal matter yesterday. Hope everyone enjoyed their holiday weekend. We got a lot to cover on the show today, including Cal Raleigh's big series in Cleveland, yesterday's dud against the White Sox, and keys for the Mariners over their next 2 games against Chicago. But let's get into the series that we missed with no show yesterday. The Mariners sweep the Guardians in Cleveland and played an 8.5-hour affair that was broken up by a 3.5-hour rain delay, and unfortunately got into Seattle around 2:30 a.m. yesterday morning. We'll get into the effects of that later on in the show. But before that, Cal Raleigh cemented this series as the series of Cal Raleigh, the series of the big dumper. He goes 4 for 9 with 3 of those hits going over the wall for Beef Boy bombs. He drove in 7 runs, including the dagger on Sunday night against the Guardians. Colby, it feels like the more we watch Cal, the better he gets, and I'm wondering, where do you think he kind of falls in the catcher hierarchy now in Major League Baseball?
Definitely top 10. You kind of look around the American League right now, and it's, Alejandro Kirk and, Jonah Heim maybe, Jose Trevino maybe, it's probably Cal, number 2. So you kind of look around. Sean Murphy's certainly up there as well. So yeah, you kind of look around in the American League, particularly the American League playoff teams. Nobody's got a player like Cal Raleigh except for the Seattle Mariners. So he's definitely top 10. I would say that's a lock. Maybe top 5. I think, Will Smith, Real Muto, Kirk are certainly way up there. So yeah, it's up for debate, I think, but I believe Cal Raleigh has like the 20th highest WAR in all of baseball, regardless of position. So you kind of look at, he's thrown out 25 base runners, I think, would be base stealers. He's got 22 home runs. It's, again, batting average still low, not super low though, considering what league average is. On base well below league average, but the slugging is well above. So I think Cal has probably played himself into at least top 10 in all of baseball, and I think you can make a pretty good argument that he's top 5 or 6.
Yeah, if he's not 5, he's definitely 6. Because like you said, Real Muto, Will Smith, Wilson Contreras, Sean Murphy, Alejandro Kirk. You could probably make an argument for those 5 guys over Cal right now, but Cal is very close, and Cal is getting better defensively we're seeing a lot of growth out of him defensively over the last couple months, especially the way that he has handled this pitching staff and all the different kinds of arms and the amount of innings that he's had to take on his legs as well. And on top of that, he's producing at the plate. He's had, a little tough stretch here and there, for a week or two, but then he gets right back on the horse. And right now he's maybe the hottest that we've seen him this year. The series in Cleveland was incredibly impressive. He took over that whole series. He did his best Greg Jennings impression, if you get that reference. It was incredible what Cal Raleigh did in this series, and it's been incredible to watch him progress over the season. And like you said, he's not just one of the best catchers in baseball right now, he's one of the best position players in all of baseball right now by F-Ward standards. So I mean, we're seeing a basically an all-star catcher develop right in front of our eyes. And going into next year, especially, Cal Raleigh is going to be one of the best catchers in Major League Baseball, and hopefully for a very long time. And he's got a long career in front of him, and it's incredible to think where he's been able to go after the way that this season started for him, with being the third catcher on this roster. He struggled in his limited action. He gets sent down to AAA and isn't even down there for 2 weeks before he has to come back up after Tom Murphy gets hurt. And then all of a sudden he just kind of figures it out. That's pretty rare to see from a young player. And obviously he's a little bit on the older side because he was a college player, and he's, kind of in the mid-20s right now. He's a little bit older for a prospect, but, and, by virtue, a little more advanced, but I mean, still, for a young player to be able to fix himself at the major league level mid-season, you don't really see that often. So very impressive stuff out of Cal Raleigh. What were some of your other takeaways from this series? We saw some really good pitching. The offense was able to put together some runs against a good pitching staff. Obviously, the Guardians got hit with some injuries to Zach Plesac and Aaron Savale. So, the Mariners caught a break on that front, and they were able to take care of Xavier Curry. And what was the other guy's name? You remember?
Something Morris. Cody Morris.
Yeah, Cody Morris. Cody Morris. Yeah, right. So they were able to take advantage of that.
Cody Morris sounds like somebody who played quarterback for the University of Washington. So I wanted, not sure. Mm-hmm. Overall, I feel like, last night or yesterday afternoon, notwithstanding, the offense has been on a nice little roll recently. You look around at this team, and Cal Raleigh, obviously, kind of carrying the load at the bottom half. JP Crawford's been pretty bad. Adam Frazier's been pretty bad lately. So they really need somebody at the bottom to kind of, add some thump to that part of the lineup. And they got it. And, Julio's on a nice little run right now as well. Over his last 7 games, he's 11 for 31 with, a couple bombs, couple stolen bases. And that's nice to see, because the week before he's struggling a little bit. So Julio appears to be, getting on a little bit of a roll here. Raleigh's getting on a roll. Ty France is obviously on a roll. That's very important. So, the Mariners starting to swing the bats, which is good because, Haniger's on a little bit of a slide right now. Winker is just MIA. Yesterday they didn't pinch hit him at all, which is very, very weird to me. It's just one of those things where you kind of look, Santana hasn't been very good recently. So it's nice that Julio and France are kind of, patrolling things at 1-2, and then Raleigh's at the bottom to kind of clean up the whatever scraps the rest of the bottom of the order can put forward. So kind of a total team effort. Still not everybody swinging the bat. That's probably never going to happen, but it just shows you, if you have 3 or 4 guys in the lineup who are swinging it pretty well on a daily basis, you don't need a lot else from the other guys in your lineup, which is good because the Mariners really aren't getting it from anybody who's not, Julio, Ty France, Gino, or Raleigh right now. So we'll see if they can continue. Obviously, they got shut down yesterday by Lynn in what was a abysmal effort against a pretty good pitcher, but still. They don't really catch any breaks. They get Johnny Cueto tonight, who's been very good. So we'll see what they can do. But yeah, for the most part, the offense was really good in Cleveland, and see if they can bounce back tonight against another pretty good pitcher.
All right, so we'll get more into yesterday's 3-2 loss to Chicago in just a moment. But real quick, a reminder, this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by Built Bar. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There is a new flavor. You ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right, Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite. Cookie dough chunk puffs have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All of the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It will be the perfect treat, or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKEDON15, that's LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your order. Again, that's LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your order at Built.com. You're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen of the day. So, Colby, what the heck happened yesterday? The Mariners, of course, running not on the most sleep that they'll probably get in the middle of a season. They got into Seattle pretty late, around 2:30 in the morning, had to play a game at 3:40 in the afternoon. So I can't imagine there was a ton of rest there being taken by the Mariners players. And they look like it. They certainly looked like they were running on fumes yesterday. And you know what? I kind of expected that this was going to happen, considering what they had gone through over the last 24 hours, and wasn't surprised at all. But was there anything outside of them just running on fumes that led to their demise yesterday?
I mean, I guess if you want to make excuses for them, you can blame the entire situation. But no, I'm not here to make excuses for them. They're a playoff caliber baseball team. They didn't play like it yesterday. Shame on them. We should all give up on them. No, it's, obviously, again, yes, there are some issues with travel and things like that, but I don't want to use that as too much of an excuse. That just seems lazy to me. Lance Lynn was really good yesterday. That's part of it. And he has been on a little bit of a roll since the All-Star break as well. So even though the numbers overall don't look great, he's been very good as of late, and he showed it again yesterday. Mariners just seemingly not able to do anything with the fastball. And if you can't hit a fastball, you're screwed. Like, let's just call it what it is. You're screwed if you can't hit fastballs. So Lynn was very good. That and the combination of the Mariners and all their excuses that people will make for them. And the fact that they really didn't run out an A lineup or anything like that. It didn't really bode well for success. I guess the good news is, at the end of the day, twice they had a chance to, tie it or win it late. And unfortunately, Ty France flies out at the warning track, and Adam Frazier instead of Jesse Winker is a choice that was made.
By the way, Aaron Goldsmith, Dave Sumsus yesterday.
Root really did most of us dirty though, because they pulled out into that deep zoom all the way out where they usually do when that ball is in the upper deck, and it's that's their establishing shot, and I was like, what? It sounded good off the bat, I'm not gonna lie, and it just kind of died. And honestly, why wouldn't you believe that ball was going out? Things have been going great for the Mariners the last week or so. So why not? Plus, it was Graveman, so I think we all kind of wanted it to happen.
We were so close. We were
Kendall
so
Graveman
close
almost
to
helped
greatness.
the Mariners. Yes, Kendall Graveman almost helped the Mariners win their third game since they traded him. But yeah, it just fit a little short, and then they do what they did against Hendricks. Really good at bats there. Just ended up falling one hit short, and you look at it, and the Mariners had three legitimate opportunities. We could say two if you want. You can say whether or not the opportunity in the eighth was a good one or not. And they certainly had one in the second, runner on first and third, one out, couldn't get that guy in, back-to-back strikeouts. And then last night, or in the last inning, bases loaded, 2 outs. You go down on 3 pitches. It's just one of those things where you needed the big hit, and this is going to be a running theme for the rest of the year, because the Mariners aren't going to put up, runs in 6 different innings every night. They're going to get 2 or 3 chances, and either they'll get the big hit and they'll put up runs as a result, or they won't. And then they'll have to try and win a pitcher's duel, which is incredibly tough to do. So, I guess the good news is Graveman and Hendricks had to throw a ton of pitches. They might be down today. We'll see. But yeah, it's no fight, or not no fight. They didn't give up. They had plenty of fight there at the end. And that's pretty good, because that was an easy game to roll over, especially, with how the bats had been all day. And then you get Graveman and Hendricks. It's an easy one to just kind of write off, and they didn't. And, shame on us for going 15 minutes in and not mentioning the great job Marco Gonzalez did, giving the team exactly what it needed. 7 innings to help reset the bullpen. And on top of the 7 innings, he gave them a legitimate chance to win that game. Elvis freaking Andrews. So
Elvis Andrus, man, we said this when he got claimed by the White Sox, that this was going to happen. It's happened all year. What is with Elvis Andrus at T-Mobile Park?
I think Elvis Andrus has 5 home runs this year, and I think 4 of them are at T-Mobile Park.
They have to be. That sounds right. That sounds right.
And I think all 5 have come against the Mariners. I think he had 1 in Oakland. So, yeah, just, one of those years. Last year was Jonah Heim. Apparently this year it's going to be Elvis Andrus. So, we'll see what happens with that. But, good on Marco. Really was able to get deep and help this bullpen reset, which, puts them in really good shape for the next 2 days. And then they have the off day on Thursday. Then they have another off day the following Monday. So the bullpen should be in really good shape going forward. And, Marco played a big role in that. So it was good to see.
So when you were watching Lance Lynn pitch yesterday, were you thinking what I was thinking, that he would look incredibly good in a Mariners uniform in 2023?
Yeah, I was. Clearly better than Marco, right? Like, not to bash Marco too badly, but anybody telling you they'd rather have Marco than Lance Lynn is lying. I'll just say that. But yeah, no, he was good, and he's on a nice little roll here. Chicago's feels like they're going to back their way into a playoff spot, meaning the division, because the AL Central is a mess.
It's so bad.
Like, I think if you're a Mariner fan, basically the only team you're worried about unseating you for a playoff spot is Baltimore at this point. And even Baltimore is fading pretty fast right now. So you're still playing for seeding. You still want to win because you want that home playoff series. I get all that. But like in terms of, where you're at playoff wise, yesterday's scoreboard was very good for you for clinching a playoff spot. So, we'll see. Like I said, see if they can bounce back. Cueto's going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him. He's going to quick pitch him. He's going to use the hesitation. He's going to do all that stuff. And he's not going to throw good stuff at you. He's just going to kind of, bulldog you more or less. And you got to find a way to make that work for you and score some runs. There are some valid excuses for the Mariners' performance yesterday, but that's all they are, excuses. Demand more, people. Stand up. But no, they'll be fine. Now they've only won 7 of 8 and like 9 of their last 12. What good is that? So, just go out.
They could have won 8 of 8.
Yeah,
just saying.
Just saying. Demand perfection.
Exactly.
But no, they'll be fine. Like I said, I do think you want to win one of these next 2, ideally both of them, obviously. But you just don't want to start the extended losing streaks, and obviously with Atlanta and San Diego coming into town after this, it's a possibility. Those are 2 really good rosters, so you just want to avoid sweeps and try and win one of these series, and they still have a good chance to beat the White Sox the next 2 nights. So we'll see what happens.
God, I wish the Mariners were in the Central.
Everything clinched, baby.
This would be so much easier. Life would be so much easier if the Mariners were just in the Central. All right, so let's talk about these next 2 games. So we know that Johnny Cueto, like you said, is going on the bump for the White Sox tonight. We don't know who's going on the bump for them tomorrow. It's TBD right now. So we'll see. I don't know if you've heard anything on that, but I haven't heard anything. So looks like it's TBD against Luis Castillo, and then tonight we got Logan Gilbert going for the M. So what do the Mariners have to do over these next 2 games to win? And if they do lose, did they build themselves enough of a buffer on the road trip to survive that, even if they were to say get swept by the White Sox, which I don't think is going to happen?
Yeah, like I said, they're in a really good spot. I think they're 5.5 up on Baltimore right now with 28 to play, and it's really 6.5 because they have the tiebreaker. So they can afford a sweep. You don't want it because again, you're still trying to get that 4 seed. But priority one, make the playoffs. They're in great shape for that, so they can survive a little bit of a down stretch here. Again, you just have to avoid the 1-9s or the 2-13 stuff like that. So as long as you're even, it was 8 game road trip, 8 game homestand. If you go 3-5, like you're fine, like you're totally fine. So in that case, yeah, they're fine. As for what they need to do tonight, Gilbert, this is a really interesting matchup. He was pretty good last time out, again against Detroit, which does that count? I don't know, but Chicago is a very aggressive team. They're going to be very aggressive on the fastball early. Gilbert's got to spot it, and if he doesn't, he's going to get hit around the ballpark pretty hard. So hopefully Gilbert has a breaking ball of some kind tonight, whether it be the slider or the curveball. He's going to have to flip that in for some first pitch strikes, and he's going to have to force the White Sox to expand the zone. Chases outside of the zone are earned, and the White Sox will do that if you force them to respect the fastball. So he's got to have good command with the fastball. He's got to have at least one breaking ball, and he should be okay. But if he's first pitch fastball to every single hitter and it's middle of the plate, it's going to be a long night for Logan Gilbert. So we'll see which version of him we get. And then the bats. Gino should be back in the lineup today. I'd say Winker should be back, but they didn't use him yesterday, which was incredibly weird to me. So probably Carlos Santana for some reason. So yeah, we'll see what the lineup looks like. But yeah, for Gilbert, it's going to be get ahead 0-1, 1-2, and then expand the zone, because you just can't throw fastballs down the middle of the plate to this White Sox team. They're too aggressive. They're they don't walk, but they put a ton of balls in play. They hit for high average. So you gotta force them to expand the zone, and the only way you can do that is to get strike one.
And the Mariners, offensively speaking, have to be on their toes because, like you said, Cueto will throw the whole kitchen sink at them. He doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he's incredibly deceptive, especially with his approach, with the quick pitches, with the delays and his windup and all that stuff that he does, all that weird stuff that he does. The Mariners have seen a pitcher like that though this year, Nestor Cortez Jr., and they were able to survive him well enough to win that game that they played against the Yankees. So hopefully they are able to follow suit here against Cueto as well. But that's going to be it's going to be an interesting matchup for them, especially coming off of a disappointing offensive effort yesterday. Hopefully with more rest and everything and more guys in the lineup, more of the regular starters in the lineup, they'll be able to put together a little bit of a better effort tonight. And as you said earlier, Liam Hendricks, Kendall Graveman might not be able to pitch tonight, so if you're able to get into the White Sox bullpen, that would behoove you. So we'll see. And then we'll see, what the pitching matchup is tomorrow, but, you always like your chances when Luis Castillo is going for you. So hopefully the Mariners at least are able to win one of these games. But like you said, not a huge deal if that's all they're able to accomplish here, because they have created such a buffer for themselves. You don't want to make a habit out of losing, especially with the Braves and the Padres coming it down. But if this is, maybe your one hiccup before October, so be it. But we'll see how it goes. Any final thoughts before we hop off here?
Yeah, again, the Mariners are 5 games up on Baltimore. It's 6 really with the tiebreaker. So yeah, the Mariners still in really good shape. If they go 500 the rest of the way, that would be, then I have to do math live on air, 27 games left. So they go 13-14, right? They'll finish 89 wins. For Baltimore to beat that, heads up, they need to get to 90, obviously. So they would have to go 19-8 to do that. It's not happening, folks. You're in really good shape. Just, again, avoid the disastrous series, trying to win one of these games. Don't give, this losing streak life. Just nip it in the bud in the next 2 days, get your off day at home, which you desperately need. Then get ready for a really fun series against 2 really good teams. And, sandwiched in between there, another off day at home. hey, how about that? So
Yeah.
just find a way to survive these next 2 games, and then get ready to go to battle with the Braves, who unfortunately you will not get to throw Luis Castillo against. So
Yeah. Get to throw
get him against San Diego though.
Against the
Yeah,
Padres. That will be
with an extra day's
lot
rest.
of fun.
So
That'll be a
yeah.
lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
Mm.
All right, so we'll be back after the game tomorrow because it's a day game. It's a matinee getaway day for the White Sox. Mariners have the off day the next day, so that's nice. That helps them a lot.
And this one will actually get played at a reasonable time because we have a roof. Because we're smart.
Exactly. The Midwest, man. All right. That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Ty Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Mariners. You can follow Inside the Mariners at Inside Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, that's DaneGnzlz, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. And thank you again for making us your first listen of the day. Now, for your second listen, go check out the Ultimate Pro Football Preview 2022. It's an 8-episode extravaganza to get you ready for the NFL season. The local team experts of the Locked On Podcast Network, plus a betting angle from Lee Sterling of Locked On Bets, all combining into one ultimate NFL preview. Search for Ultimate Pro Football Preview 2022 on your Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And with that, have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Go M's. Peace.